Number one in truck sales. In trucks, too, Ford is the going thing.
This is the Daytona International Speedway, scene of the 11th annual Daytona 500. And on a perfect day for racing, the largest sports crowd ever to watch an event in the southeastern part of the United States is here today. And as we get closer to the start of the race, the activities in the pits is confined to last-minute checking of every possible detail, making sure that all is in readiness for what is considered to be one of the most grueling races in the history of motorsports. Hello, everybody. Bill Fleming welcoming you to the Daytona International Speedway. I remember a decade ago when the first Daytona 500 was run. It was in 1959, and the unheard-of crowd of 20,000 people poured into the Daytona International Speedway, which was brand new at the time, to watch that race. Today, it's an unbelievable crowd of well over 100,000 people. And the contrast in cars and in speed is just as great as it is in crowds. For instance, Cotton Owens qualified at 143 miles an hour in a Pontiac that particular day. And believe it or not, the fastest qualifier today was in excess of 190 miles an hour. Gives you a rough idea of what we can expect here today in the Daytona 500. Working with us, as usual, is the editor of National Speed Sport News, Chris Economaki. And Chris, I know you have a bundle of information for us, but first and foremost, the great battle between the Fords and the Dodges.
Well, I think that never before in the history of this race have the two companies been so close. It's an even-Steven 500, the experts say. But Ford has got a bit of a problem. They were forced to use last year's engine at the last minute. They've gotten a lot of power and a lot of speed out of it, but they're not sure about the economy, and they don't know how far one of their cars will go on a tank full of gas until that first pit stop rolls around. And that really upsets their strategy.
You know, Chris, you were here for that first Daytona 500. Don't you have a little bit of a sentimental feeling, too, when you look at these steeds that they have lined up here today and contrast them with the cars of 10 years ago?
Well, it's really been a truly remarkable development of the sport here. Everything has improved, the crowds, the cars, and we wonder where it's going to end.
No, that's what you have to say to yourself. How fast can they go?
The drivers say there's no limit here at Daytona.
Well, also on today's show, you're going to be seeing the World's Two-Man Bobsled Championship. That'll be coming to you from Lake Placid, New York, with Jim McKay reporting. And now we're getting very close to the starting bomb. The cars will be moving out. So let's set the field for you right now. And, Chris, have a good day.
I'll be here.
Okay. Driving car number 13, a fellow who is not superstitious, Bobby Unser, last year's Indianapolis winner. A.J. Foyt, car number 11, also in a 69 Ford, who has won the Indianapolis race 3 times. Donnie Allison, car number 27, also in a 69 Ford Torino. In car number 71, in a 69 Charger, Bobby Isaac, outside pole, first row. And Buddy Baker, the inside pole sitter, also in a 69 Charger, car number 3. David Pearson, car number 17, 1968 Grand National Champion in a 69 Ford today. And car number 21, driven by Cale Yarborough, shooting for his 4th straight win here at the Daytona International Speedway in a 69 Ford. And now, from high above the track, in our Goodyear blimp camera, you get a chance to see what it's like on a perfect Florida day. The balloons go up, and the cars are starting their engines, getting ready to go out off the pace lap. And car number 13, Bobby Unser, can't get started. Unser is still in the pits, and he's getting a push for car number 45, Bill Seifert. And he's underway. Unser is started, but one car, Don Biederman, a Canadian driver, the only Canadian in the field, can't get started, so Andy Hampton, the alternate, in a 69 Ford, is out on the track. Hampton will be in car number 58. Pace car moving out, and behind them are strung these gleaming, expensive pieces of metal, the fastest stock cars in the world. Buddy Baker and Bobby Isaac in the first row. Baker, number 3, Isaac, number 71. Behind them, in row 2, David Pearson and Charlie Glotzbach. Row 3, Cale Yarborough and Paul Goldsmith. Goldsmith, incidentally, in a car that he hasn't had a chance to test after hitting the wall on the final day of practice. Donnie Allison and Bobby Unser in row 4. A.J. Foyt and Swede Savage, young rookie, a protege of Dan Gurney, in row 5. Row 6, that is. Benny Parsons, cab driver from Detroit, and Richard Petty in row 7. And here they come by. The green flag should be out. And they'll be underway. The 50 fastest stock cars in the world, in the richest stock car race in the world, the 11th annual Daytona 500, and they're underway. And immediately Buddy Baker gets a good jump on Bobby Isaac. Buddy Baker in car number 3 shoots into the lead by about a car length as they go into that first turn. And it's quite a start, Chris.
Remarkable start. Baker setting a brisk pace here. We wonder how the Fords are going to do. There's Bobby Johns, who got off to a late start. They're putting a lap on him before they get halfway down the backstretch.
Right, and there goes Buddy Baker in that 69 Charger, followed by Bobby Isaac, also in a 69 Charger. And Charlie Glotzback in a 69 Charger is running third. So the Dodgers are 1, 2, and 3 right now. David Pearson is 4. Cale Yarborough is in 5th place. And you might just watch at these tremendous speeds, just a little bit different technique in driving this track.
They're using more of the track this year, Bill. They're going through the turns higher and coming off wider, which is going to make passing perhaps more difficult.
And watch Cale. He's really moving. Here he moves into 3rd place. Cale Yarborough has moved into 3rd, car number 21. So right now it's Buddy Baker in car number 3, Bobby Isaac in car number 71 in 2nd place, and Cale Yarborough in car number 21 chasing Isaac to try to get 2nd, and there he goes by him. So Yarborough has moved from 5th right up to 2nd, and now the question is, can he catch Buddy Baker in this early going? They're turning the first lap at 186 miles an hour.
That's remarkable, Bill, considering the slow start behind the pace car. They're going to be getting close to 190 before it's over today.
And there goes Buddy Baker, followed by Cale Yarborough. The first 4 cars bunched right up in there. David Pearson is in car number 17, and now Isaac has dropped back to 5th, and Charlie Glotzback has moved into 3rd place. Now, Cale Yarborough moving up very rapidly on Buddy Baker in the backstretch. And Yarborough has taken the lead over Buddy Baker. So it's been quite a start to this race, and we'll be back with more from the Daytona International Speedway in just a moment.
You're about to see the Battle of the Vans. 3 competitive vans in the all-new Ford Econoline. To prove our vans for an inside look. First, let's compare servicing. The other vans must be serviced from inside the driver's compartment. But the Econoline has an outside service center for oil, water, battery. Now, let's compare load space. We're putting these equal-sized kitchen cabinets in all of the vans, but because the engines in the other vans take up load space, the Econoline engine is moved forward for 23% more clear floor space. See, this kitchen cabinet goes all the way in. You might say the new Ford Econoline carries everything, including the kitchen sink.
Number 21, driven by Cale Yarborough, has taken the lead here, and Cale was the leading money winner on the circuit last year with more than $135,000 in purses. And right behind is Buddy Baker and then David Pearson. Chris, any comment at this point in the race?
I'm just surprised at the Fords, Bill, frankly. They talked about those engines, and look at Pearson go by Baker. They're getting a lot out of those 427 tunnel ports that have been used as their racing engine for several seasons now.
You know, I think a lot of fans would like to know, what is that difference between 427 and 429? It sounds like only 2 cubic inches.
It's a design difference, and they just couldn't make the necessary 500 engines to qualify as a racing car. The Dodges are special, too, Bill. They're the 500 model, and there have been more than 500 of these special Dodges made and sold.
Bobby Allison, or check that, Donnie Allison has moved up into 4th, as David Pearson has taken over 2nd place. Cale Yarborough still setting the pace, but right now, the Fords are running 1 and 2. And there is the lead car, Cale Yarborough, from Timmonsville, South Carolina. David Pearson, Buddy Baker, and that is Donnie Allison in 4th. Into the pits, car number 71. Bobby Isaac, who became a father of twins just a couple of days ago.
Well, there's a good look at the front spoiler. Under the bumper on that K&K Dodge is that wide piece of metal. It's legal in racing. It helps keep the car on the ground.
And it looks like they're wiping it off or doing something, Chris.
Well, they have some litter there in the radiator, and it's caused the car to overheat.
All right, that's going to be a costly pit stop for Bobby Isaac. And now in our split screen, you see a Cale Yarborough at the top, and a pretty good battle between A.J. Foyt and Richard Petty. Car number 11, Foyt, 743 is Petty, and they are battling now for fifth.
Petty is making his first speedway start for Ford. The color and the number are the same, the blue number 43, and after more than a dozen years for Plymouth, Petty has moved over this year to Ford.
And look at him right on the tail end. A.J., and here comes Pearson into the pits. So he gives up second place. That means Buddy Baker will move into second. Allison will move into third.
It looks as though Pearson's in trouble. That's an unscheduled stop. We're going to go down there and check and see just what's wrong.
Okay, we'll wait for your report. In the meantime, here's that battle between A.J. Foyt and Richard Petty. That'll move them up one notch, so they're now battling for fourth. And at this point, everybody chasing Cale Yarborough. Cale has slowed down, and it looks like he may be pitting here before long. And we'll get a report from Chris Economaki on that activity, but in the meantime, A.J. Foyt has moved from back up the pack, and incidentally, keep your eye on Leroy Yarborough, who started back in the 10th row, and right now we've got him back up there in 6th place, so he's been doing some real charging.
Well, Bill, here's a story on David Pearson, a Ford's bread and butter driver. He broke a generator belt, a $2 belt, to send him to the pits early. It caused the car to overheat a little bit. They're getting 3.7 miles to the gallon. That's about 82 miles to the tank full, and the Wood brothers are working now on Cale Yarborough's car. We'll get another gasoline figure as soon as possible.
So Cale Yarborough has lost the lead here, meaning that Buddy Baker has taken over the lead. Cale Yarborough pitting here on lap number 26, and a car in trouble down the main chute. A great plume of smoke has gone up, and it's hard to tell just who it is, but fortunately, he's gone down to the infield. And it didn't look like anybody even brushed him. Yellow flag is out. It's car number 53. That's Billy Taylor, who blew an engine in a 67 Dodge. Billy from Yanceyville, North Carolina, getting out of his car. Let's take a look at it again in slow motion. Look at that smoke. It's miraculous that nobody hit him.
Tires are lighting up, as the drivers say, Bill, and that's where the smoke comes from, the burning rubber against the asphalt.
Whew. And around he goes, and the yellow caution flag is out, so that means that everybody can pit, and it was rather unfortunate, Chris, that Cale pitted on the green because he's going to lose out here as Baker takes to the pit, and Donnie Allison is coming in also. That in just a moment.
Camaro Pacesetter Days mean sure savings at your Chevrolet dealers. Chevrolet's Camaro, official pace car for this year's Indianapolis 500. The pace-setting Camaro, lower, wider, roomier, heavier than any car at its price. And special savings now during the Camaro Pacesetter sale. Convertible or sport coupe, specially equipped with a 250 cubic inch engine, bumper guards, pinstriping along the sides, white wall tires and wheel covers, wheel opening molding, deluxe steering wheel, and special interior trim. And at no extra cost during the sale, a floor-mounted shift for the 3-speed transmission, and this sporty hood stripe. See your Chevrolet dealer now. Find out how much driving fun you get along with special savings during the Camaro Pacesetter sale. The ring...
Highways, byways, I'm on my way. Clicking miles in my Chevrolet. People see me in my Chevy. Know I'm going home. So go swing Chevy and make every hour the smoothest ride.
You'll notice now that Cale Yarborough, car number 21, is a little bit ahead of Buddy Baker. That's just exactly how much time Cale lost by pitting on the green, and he's almost a lap behind. So here they come, and the green flag is going to be out. Back racing again. Incidentally, Cale Yarborough turned the 8th lap at 185.950 miles an hour, a new record. And here they go under the green. Buddy Baker, Donnie Allison, Richard Petty, Leroy Yarborough is now in 4th.
The Wood Brothers report, Bill, that Cale's getting better than 4 miles to the gallon, and they expect even better mileage as this race unfolds.
Here's David Pearson dropping back a little bit as Buddy Baker is charging now. He's coming right up on the tail end of Cale Yarborough, but keep in mind the car number 21 Yarborough is almost a lap behind. Donnie Allison right behind Buddy Baker. Pearson's had a little tough luck. Maybe one of the reasons he's running slowly. He's been in, 3 or 4 times anyway, and seems to be out of contention at this point. And Cale fighting not to be lapped. Look at that turbulence.
Whew, tremendous air pressures on the cars here. You know, just before the race, after the last practice, the rear spoilers were tilted upward to give the rear wheels more purchase. They all did it. They were just afraid of this loose situation that's prevailed here.
And just that little dido that was cut there by Buddy Baker allowed Donnie Allison to move ahead of him in the lead. So here is Buddy Baker, the second place car. Pearson is either 1 or 2 laps behind, but he's not in contention at this point. Buddy Baker is the second place car, and Donnie Allison right ahead of him in the red car as he flashes by is in first place.
Pearson's problem, Bill, has been an alternator bolt broke, and that allowed that belt to go off that caused the first stop. They've been making repeated pit stops to try and replace the bolt to hold the alternator. It's cost them a lot of valuable time.
So the way things stand now, it's Allison, Baker, Richard Petty, Leroy Yarborough, and Bobby Unser. And here comes Richard Petty, car number 43. 98 is the first car there you see, then 43 and 13 is Bobby Unser. So those 3 are battling it out as 98 has taken Richard Petty and is now running third. That's Leroy Yarborough, and he started way back.
All these Fords are that new Talladega chassis with the power dome nose, a Torino Cobra with a special front bodywork for aerodynamic reasons.
Car in the pits, California driver Dick Brooks, car number 32, on a pit stop. This is this battle for third. Leroy Yarborough, Richard Petty, and Bobby Unser.
This is the first stock car race for Bobby Unser in over 11 years, he told me before the race, and he's adapted beautifully.
He, of course, the defending Indianapolis champion, and here he moves up on Richard Petty. So Bobby Unser has moved now into 4th place and is right behind Leroy Yarborough, challenging for 3rd. So there have been good battles, not only for 1st and 2nd, but also to get position back in the pack. Uh-oh, car in trouble. Smoke from car number 22, that's Bobby Allison, Donnie's older brother. And a spin at about 150 miles an hour down on the infield, and he pulls it to a stop. The yellow caution flag is on at Pete Hamilton, car number 1. You can't see the car. It's hidden right behind those temporary shanties there. There it is. Car number 1 is out of there.
That's a tough break, Bill. 2 good, fast Dodges were taken out of the race in this incident.
Both cars out of commission, and the yellow flag is out.
Look at Allison hang on to that thing, keeping it from going back up on the track. This is a good example of the safety factor that prevails here at Daytona. Track promoter Bill France calls the speedway self-cleaning. The steep 31-degree banks allow the cars to fall right off once they're in trouble and leaving the high-speed groove open for the other drivers.
Under the yellow, many of the cars are coming in. Here comes Donnie Allison, followed by a string of others. It makes the scoreboard keeper's nightmare, but as close as we can figure it out, Buddy Baker has the lead. Then A.J. Foyt and Charlie Glotzbach, who as yet have not pitted under the yellow, have moved up. So it's 1, 2, 3, Baker, Foyt, and Glotzbach in that order. We'll have more racing in just a moment. Green flag is out, and immediately A.J. Foyt and Donnie Allison jump out ahead of Buddy Baker. A quick bit of acceleration as those two now have taken the lead.
You know, the restarts here, Bill, used to be single file.
Right, and at this point, A.J. Foyt and Donnie Allison are being pursued by Cale Yarborough, although Cale is not in the same lap. What he wants to do here, he's the third car, car number 21 on the right-hand side of your screen, is to unlap himself so he can get in the same lap as the leaders.
He might just do it, too.
And look at Donnie Allison sliding through to take the lead from A.J. Foyt. And Paul Goldsmith now has moved up into 4th place. So we've had a lot of different leaders, and it's been good dicing here during this 11th annual Daytona 500. And A.J. Foyt, keep your eye on him.
A word from the Holman and Moody pit, David Pearson's crew, car number 17. He's made 7 pit stops the first 100 miles. Oops.
This is Bobby Unser. Car number 13 has hit the wall. The caution flag is out again, and Bobby's okay getting out of the car and trotting to the infield, but his car is out of the race. Car number 13, unlucky today. It didn't start to begin the race. He had to be pushed, and he's up against the wall.
That's a smoky Unique Ford and a favorite among Daytona fans.
So now the yellow caution flag is out. It's going to be some time before they get that car off the wall. We may have a lengthy yellow here, so we're going to take that opportunity to leave Daytona very briefly. We're going to go to the World Two-Man Bobsled Championship at Lake Placid, New York, and Jim McKay. Back here at the Daytona International Speedway, we're approaching the halfway mark at the Daytona 500, and we have record-breaking speeds. Surprisingly, only 11 cars of the 50 that started have dropped out, so 39 are still in the running, and they're being led by this red Ford Torino, soon to be called the Talladega when it gets its new engine, this one driven by Donnie Allison. Ahead of him is David Pearson, also in a Ford, but he's a couple of laps back, so there's the leader, Donnie Allison. Then another Ford driven by Cale Yarborough, car number 21, is in second place. And car number 98, another Ford driven by Leroy Yarborough, is in third. There's Leroy on the left. Right behind him is Charlie Glotzback, the red number 6 Dodge Charger. And behind him is Buddy Baker in car number 3, also in a Charger. So the Fords have 1, 2, and 3 right now, and the Chargers 4 and 5. And here comes Buddy Baker, and he takes Glotzback. Takes Glotzback for 4th. Before the race got underway today, Chris Economaki had an opportunity to talk with both of the Dodge Charger drivers that are right up there in contention right now. Number 6, Charlie Glotzback, who really came on strong at the end of 1968, and Buddy Baker, always a favorite here at Daytona. So let's join Chris for the comments of these drivers before the start of today's 500.
How are you looking at today's 500?
Well, it's going to be real competitive all the way through, it looks like, and I just hope I can win it.
Buddy, we talked with you earlier. Have any different now, moments before the race?
Well, no, I'm going to stick to my plan pretty much, so I'm going to let somebody else be the rabbit today and just kind of play my pit stops and do the best I can. But as Charlie said, there's going to be a lot of close competition today, and to pick a winner right now would be real hard. Even as confident as I usually am about myself, I'm just kind of sitting here thinking.
The pre-race strategy of Buddy Baker seeming to work out right now, because right now he's running in 4th place behind Leroy Yarborough. Those two cars in the picture right now, 98 Leroy and number 3 Buddy Baker. Back for more racing in just a moment.
Moving out. Moving out is saying goodbye to the room you brought your firstborn home to the kitchen you finally got just the way you wanted it. And to your special roses. That's what moving out is.
Dart versus Nova, co-starring the Dart Swinger and Nova Coupe. In the supporting roles, Miss Sandy Beach and her big brother, Rocky. He's as rugged as his name. Rocky's the #1 crane operator for the biggest wrecker in these parts. Takes a good man to handle his job and his hobbies. He's been a skydiver, has a closet full of road racing trophies, and made the Olympics in weightlifting. Now, his sister Sandy is a different type altogether. As a receptionist in a very quiet office, her most strenuous task is arranging the flowers on her desk. Her hobby is relaxing with a good book. As for sports, she tried once, but found it
utterly exhausting.
But Sandy and Rocky do have something in common.
We hate winter in the temperate zone.
With a purple passion.
So they're planning a move to the land of palm trees and sunshine. But first, they're each going to buy a new car. They've settled on compacts.
I think I'll look at a Dodge Dart.
Chevy Nova for me.
So Sandy visits her friendly local Dodge dealer to see the new Dart models, and Rocky asks his Chevrolet dealer what models Nova has to offer. He learns that technically there are only two models. One is the Nova four-door sedan. This basic model is competitive in price and trim with the Dodge Dart four-door sedan. Then, where Dart has the Swingin' Swinger two-door hardtop.
Now that stokes my fire.
She's Dodge material, all right. Anyway, the Nova buyer who wants a two-door has to settle for a coupe, no hardtop. Both Dart and Nova offer interior and exterior trim options for the models covered so far. To step up to custom model level, the Nova buyer orders a basic coupe or sedan plus optional custom exterior and interior trim packages. At this level, Dart has the custom models, two-door hardtop and four-door sedan.
Yummy. Any more models?
One, Sandy, and it's a live one.
Swinger 340. Wow, looks like a top eliminator.
You can bank on it. With its standard 340 cube, 275 horse mill, it can blow the doors off performance cars with bigger engines and higher power ratings, including the Nova Coupe with optional SS package. Its 350 V8 is rated at 300 horsepower, but that's no edge at all against a giant killer. Incidentally, Nova and SS are the only nameplates in the lineup. Nova's confusing options rule out model distinction. Every Dart is distinguished by its own nameplate, including the Dart GT package, which is the custom hardtop with optional buckets. Now, let's rejoin the proud and happy owners of two brand new cars on delivery day.
Hey, you didn't tell me you'd gotten a hardtop.
How come you didn't? Going square in your old age?
Age, smage, Nova doesn't build a hardtop, stupid. Okay, you're not stupid.
Forget it, man. That would only be the beginning anyway. Look up front. That grill, really rocky.
What's wrong with it?
Oh, absolutely nothing. It's probably the most time-tested design on the road. Would you care to estimate how many Chevys you've seen over the years with this same familiar face? When I invest in a new car, I want it to have a pretty new face, like Swinger.
Gotta admit, this makes mine look like just another pea in the Chevy pod.
And did you check the length of these cars?
Yep, same wheelbase, both 111.
Length, Rocky, length.
All right, stubborn. Your Swinger's nearly 7 inches longer. Now, let's knock this off and get packing for that early morning start.
Oof, you and your solid gold trophies. Where to?
My car, in the trunk.
Hey, look. That spare louse is up your floor space. The steamer trunk'll never make it.
No strain.
Want to try my luggage compartment?
Why bother?
That's why.
Oh, you little doll. You took out the spare just so you could tote my trophies.
Sure I did. Greater love hath no sister.
It's gonna make it.
And don't forget, with no strain.
Whew, that's a relief. Now let's finish packing. We can't be late to our farewell party.
Now, what a send-off they're getting. But they stick to their plan and get off to an early morning start. And soon they're conforming to the standard 6-stage turnpike cycle. You dive in, grind along, pull into a plaza, head for the facilities, get a snack, and gas up to start the cycle all over again. Now, during these stops and underway, Sandy and Rocky have been discovering more differences between their cars. For instance, Dart's new safety door release lever operates only with a deliberate inward pull. No accidental nudge can cause the door to fly open. Nova still has the old rotary release that most car makers have discontinued. Also, Sandy's seat back release lever is at a convenient height. Rocky has to reach every time. Swinger's seat is higher, softer, and more comfortable. Both cars give ample headroom, legroom, and shoulder room front and rear. In the Automotive News Roominess Index, the Swinger hardtop and Nova Coupe each totals a fraction over 267 inches. So roominess is a draw. This wire in the windshield is Nova's radio antenna. The wire is so fine it will never distract the driver. That is, until the first time he becomes aware of it. Then it can... Well, let's ask the man who owns one. Rocky?
Can bug you, like a little stone chip.
Now, here's a difference that showed up when Rocky and Sandy switched cars for one cycle. Instrumentation. Dart has gauges for temperature, fuel, speed, and alternator. The only warning light is for oil pressure. Nova has a speedometer and fuel gauge. All other conditions are reported by warning lights only. And compare the readability of these two panels. Here's Nova's panel as seen under perfect lighting conditions by a driver with perfect eyesight. And the Swinger panel under the same perfect conditions. But take a driver who is a little nearsighted or farsighted. Toss in some astigmatism and head him into a low sun. Then how does the panel read?
Well, my Swinger panel looks like this when I'm heading into the sun. A little fuzzy, because I'm slightly farsighted. But I can make it out okay without my reading glasses. Poor Rocky, though. He has a problem.
Yeah, I don't need glasses to see ahead of the hood. But I do need them to read this panel, unless I squint real hard.
Well, by now, Rocky is understandably grumpy.
I gotta take that smart alecky kid sister down a peg. But how? Yeah, here's how. Split from this turnpike and take a road that separates the men from the girls.
Well, how about that? Rocky the road racer leading his kid sister into the boondocks so he can dust off the Swinger.
No, I won't be too rough on her. Just leave her about 20 miles behind, wait for her to catch up, then rub it in a little. What's the matter, sis? Can't that Swinger swing on anything but a turnpike? Okay, Nova, here we go. Let's see, I'll swing in close to the mailbox, drift outside, then slant back in. That ought to do it.
And so it goes, mile after mile. Rocky's pulling every trick in his book, and he's taking a beating.
The computer that designed this suspension must have flipped a cog.
Not exactly, Rocky. It has a lot less to work with than the Dodge computers. Ordinary coil springs up front. In back, single-leaf rear springs on every Nova, up to and including the standard V8 model. To get multiple leaves, you have to go into the optional V8s. Dart torsionaire suspension is much costlier. Torsion bar front springs are teamed with multi-leaf rear springs on all models. The result is a smooth ride and sports car handling. And this explains why Rocky has...
A tailgater. Well, it's Sandy.
You can't lose a winner, Rocky. She's been with you all the way. And to quote you, no strain. Swinger's smoother handling, plus the extra 30 horsepower over your standard V8, can equalize a lot of tricky driving.
Get the rocks out? Why, that little... Okay, Rocky, face it. This road separated the men from the girls, all right. Not quite the way we planned it, but a guy can't win them all.
Driving car number 27. In the lead, Donnie was the Grand National Rookie of the Year driver in 1968, hoping to win his first Daytona 500 here today. David Pearson, still 2 laps back, is just ahead of Allison. Here comes Buddy Baker in the pits. Chris, is this scheduled?
I think so. Not under the green. You know, these cars that are up front, Bill, are set up for the most part by former drivers. Allison's number 27 is under the charge of Pedro Matthews. Look at Cale Yarborough in trouble there.
Yellow is out.
Number 21.
Right, the yellow flag is out, and Cale Yarborough's up against the wall.
And that ends his chances for 4. We hope he's okay.
The windows have almost fogged over, Chris. It's hard to see them, but that car is absolutely welded against the wall. Here it is, again in slow motion. I don't know whether we can see really what happened. It looked like he blew the right front tire out. It's just a guess.
Boy, he really hit it hard. It's narrow Fort Torino at this point.
Now the crew has gotten over there, and they've taken Cale out through the window. Chris, why don't you move down the area and see if you can get word on Cale. He looks like he's groggy, but semi-conscious. Well, the yellow caution flag is out. Just received word down here that Bobby Unser has come back from his mishap. And let's go down to Chris. Chris, you get him before, and maybe get a report on Cale later.
Well, we're sorry to see you standing here, Bobby. What happened out there on the track?
Well, everything was going fine, but I think what I did is I must have run over a piece of trash, you know, a piece of metal on the road and blew a tire because the tire was brand new. But just to put it on there, and all of a sudden it sounded like a double-barrel shotgun went off, and the car reached over and hit the wall.
Was it a solid hit?
Well, it felt pretty solid. I don't know.
Are you okay?
Oh, yeah, I'm all right except for my feelings. I'd like to keep running the race.
Well, there's always another one, Bobby.
Maybe the thing to do is change the number on the car from 13 to some other number that's a little more lucky. The green is out. The green flag is out after the mishap to Cale Yarborough. They got the car out very quickly, as you saw. So Donnie Allison still has the lead, and Pearson is still ahead of him. And another blown engine. That is car number 18, Dick Johnson, in a 68 Ford. Has blown an engine, but there is no caution flag. So apparently there's not any reason, no oil on the track. And the car has come down onto the infield, so they're still coming with the green. And here is a clocking on Donnie Allison on just how fast he is running. 49 seconds flat. Converts to 183.67 miles an hour on that last lap for Donnie Allison. Here's Chris Kanamaki with the word.
Bill, here's the word from the field hospital. Cale.
Hold on just a second. Somebody taking a shortcut here. Car number 75, George Bauer, has taken a cut right through the infield, comes up on the pit exit, and he's back on the track. Okay, excuse me, Chris.
Quite exciting. Cale is okay. He's got a serious bunk on the nose. He may have a broken nose, and he's just shaken up.
And here goes Charlie Glotzback into the lead, taking the lead from Donnie Allison. So Charlie Glotzback in a 69 Charger has taken the lead. We'll be back very soon with more of the Daytona 500. Right now, let's return to Jim McKay at Lake Placid, New York. Thanks very much, Jim. In contrast to the snow on the ground at Lake Placid, New York, here at the Daytona International Speedway in Florida, we have just a ground cover of automobiles. The entire infield covered here at the Big D, the Daytona International Speedway, watching Donnie Allison. Still charging in car number 27. But right behind him is Leroy Yarborough in car number 98, and here comes Leroy. Coming up very fast behind Donnie Allison.
As I said earlier, Bill, the fellows that are doing well today are driving cars that's set up by former drivers that are now retired. Donnie Allison is driving for Banjo Matthews, and Leroy Yarborough is driving for Junior Johnson, who won here in 1960.
And look at Leroy go by Donnie Allison. Leroy takes the lead from Donnie Allison on a nifty bit of driving, and look at number 6, Charlie Glotzback is right behind, waiting to pounce in too. Looks like he may take aim on Donnie. So those three cars running 1, 2, and 3, 2 Fords and a Dodge, and here comes Charlie Glotzback into second place, taking Donnie Allison.
He lived up to his name there, Charging Charlie, and he's driving a car set up by a former driver, Cotton Owens.
And Cotton Owens was the fastest qualifier here at the first Daytona 500 11 years ago, or 10 years ago, 11 races ago. You must be amazed at the speeds that we have right now. Chris, bring us up to date on the cars that are out of the race, as Leroy is followed closely now by Glenn and Donnie Allison.
Well, Iowa fans will be disappointed. to hear that Ramos Stott is out with the engine trouble. Sweet Savage, the California rookie, is out, rubbed the wall a little bit. And of course, Cale Yarborough is out. Paul Goldsmith had the same trouble, grazed the wall and is out. Bobby Unser, of course, Bobby Allison, and Pete Hamilton, early retirees.
But still, a lot of the real hot cars in the running, and they're the two that are leading the race right now. Leroy Yarborough, who had such a disappointing year a year ago when he finished second to Cale Yarborough twice here at Daytona, hopes to win it today. We'll be back in just a moment.
At Weyerhaeuser, the word is go. Go night and day. Go round the clock if you have to. Go faster to help builders keep rush jobs on schedule. Go with new packaging ideas for the food and dairy industries. Go through the weekend to get an order of Weyerhaeuser paper into the hands of a high-balling printer. Go long. Go hard. To produce more pulp for customers all over the globe. Around the world, around the clock, 24 hours a day. Go is the word for Weyerhaeuser. Weyerhaeuser, working on tomorrow's ideas today.
Two of the most talented drivers in all of auto racing, Leroy Yarborough and Charlie Glucksback, practically bumper to bumper, and Charlie almost gets by on the inside. This illustrious race has there been quite a duel like we've had here at these speeds. Now, it's true that a year ago, Cale and Leroy battled it out, almost wheel to wheel. Looks like Charlie was going to get by, and then again, Leroy won't let him by. Chris, have you ever seen anything like it?
No, it's tremendous, but the people who are car fans are enjoying it, too. It's a Ford versus Chrysler proposition here. At one moment, one group's on their feet. The next moment, the other group's on their feet.
And they've been going like this for about the last 5 laps. And there goes Charlie. Can he stay there? There's traffic ahead of him. He has to back off just a little bit. And Leroy noses him out once again.
Great speeds of pushing these fellows higher and higher on the track. And at this stage of the game, really anything could happen.
All right, while they're battling here, a quick report, a hospital report on the 2 Japanese bobsledders who had such a spectacular accident at Lake Placid. The report is that the driver, Nagata, had face contusions and some broken ribs. His brakeman, Asagawa, suffered a slight concussion, neither seriously hurt. Glad to hear that, and there goes Charlie Glucksback. And this time he gets Leroy. Now can he hold it? They're almost dead even as they go into the number 3 turn, and now Glucksback does get just a little bit of an advantage, and watch it, Leroy up high, almost lost control.
Boy, you know, tires, Bill, are a critical point here. Leroy had a little problem there. We understand from the Junior Johnson pit that they're considering putting on a different compound when he does come in for his last pit stop. There's A.J. Foyt burning rubber on his way back into the action.
All right, A.J. into the pits was 4, and here comes Leroy Yarborough in the pits. Glucksback in the lead, and let's see now if they do that tire change. This will probably be his last pit stop, right, Chris?
Well, it is. The remarkable thing here is they're changing the inside rear wheel, not the outside where Ware is most usually found. That spoiler angulation we talked about earlier is press the rear of the car down, spread the wear, and they're putting a soft rubber tire, a soft compound tire, on the left rear. Let's see what happens now.
All right, it was a 24.5-second pit stop.
He's going to have lots of traction, lots of bite. And here's Charlie Glucksback in for what should be his last stop of the race, and the Cotton Owens crew goes to work.
Right, and let's see now, in comparison, how long it takes for Charlie Glucksback to get back on the track. Keep in mind that Leroy had 24.5.
And notice they're not changing tires on Glucksback's car.
17.8, and so he picks up, what, about almost a full 7 seconds. And here is Donnie Allison's car, number 27, running in 3rd place at the time of his pit stop, and he's getting rubber.
Again, it's inside rubber. This is a change in strategy here at Daytona.
All right, that was a long pit stop for Allison, 34-plus seconds. And Charlie Glucksback, car number 6, in the lead with Leroy Yarborough, about 7 seconds behind. And wait a minute. Car number 3 here, Buddy Baker. No, he's 2 laps back. Sorry, go ahead.
Richard Petty is having a tough day today. He's still in the top 10, but he's been with a bulky car all week.
All right, we'll be back with a conclusion in just a moment.
Okay, carpool, let's go. Oh, air conditioning. What happened?
Would you believe a branch fell on it?
You're kidding.
Okay. Look, I'll drop you guys off at the office, and then I'll go get some estimates before I call Allstate about repairs.
Oh, you've got Allstate auto insurance.
Yeah?
Heck, you can get this claim settled easy. You don't have to run all over the place getting estimates. They've got an Allstate drive-in claim center near the office.
Okay, Mr. Hubbard. This will take care of the damage.
You mean that's all there is to it?
That's all. Say, fixed already. That was fast.
I liked it better with the hole in it.
Looks great.
Like they say, I'm in good hands.
Talk to the good hands people. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Exactly 7.5 laps to go, and Charlie Glotzback has the lead on Leroy Yarbrough, and we're keeping a timing between the two. But Leroy has consistently been cutting that margin down by about 0.5 of a second per lap. The question will be, will he have enough time to do it? And keep in mind also that car number Buddy Baker is still on the track, and he is very close to Glotzback. And there's the interval, 3.2. Baker, although not in contention with these leaders and is not on the same lap, he could be a possible hazard to Leroy. In other words, the two Dodges, conceivably, Chris, could team up here.
That's very possible. I know that Benny Parsons, the Detroit cab driver who won the ARCA 300 a couple of weeks ago, has moved into the first 10. And Vic Elford, the Englishman, former British rally driver, now a Formula One driver, in his first stock car start, has been plugging along all day and is now tooling around in 11th place.
That's quite an accomplishment. A grueling test here of machinery and nerves, courage. There is nothing quite like Daytona. And 2.7 now is the interval with 6 laps to go. 2.7. Well, that's exactly a half a second that Leroy has picked up since the last time we clocked. So he's consistently been running a half a second.
The race is being run at 3 miles an hour faster than Richard Petty's 1964 record. They're averaging in the high 57s now. The running actually is better than 180, but the slowdowns have cut the speed of the race down to 157.
And again, it's the Charger driven by Charlie Glotzback against the Ford Torino Talladega driven by Leroy Yarbrough.
I might add, Bill, that the president of the Ford Motor Company, Bunky Newton, is here, and the vice president of Chrysler, general manager of the Dodge division, Bob McCurry, is here, both standing and cheering their respective drivers.
Well, Bunky's cheering right now because, again, another half second has gone down. 2.2 is the difference with 5 laps to go. I don't know, Chris, it's just been an observation that I've been making. It looks like perhaps Glotzback has a little bit better going on the straightaway, and that Leroy picks up a little bit in the turns. Now, does that make any sense to you?
It's very possible. The cars are suspended differently. The Dodge has torsion bar front suspension, and the Ford has a different type of suspension, which makes it handle differently in different places on the track.
Well, I'm wondering about that tire change, too.
That could possibly be a part of it.
Oh, here they come by. Let's get a clocking. 2 seconds flat. Well, he picked up only 2 seconds the last time. That's all that separates these two cars, Glotzback and Leroy Yarbrough. Well, he's going to have to do better than that with only 4 laps to go. Only 2/10 wouldn't put him close enough. Look at them streak down that backstretch. I suppose at this point, Chris has just let it all go.
The strategy goes out the window. It's every man for himself, foot to the floor.
Now, here's an interesting thing we mentioned earlier. Buddy Baker is right behind Glotzback, and that's the spot that he's positioned himself in. He's kind of running interference in reverse, so to speak.
How about that? He sort of gives Leroy Yarbrough some room, which is a strange occurrence.
And Leroy right behind Baker. He has to get by Baker to get the Glotzback, and it's down to 1.2. Now, that's with 3 laps to go. He picked up 0.8 of a second.
And Actually, Leroy was helped by Baker. He picked up a little bit of his draft in there.
All right, here's a critical point. Leroy even with Baker, and he takes Baker on the backstretch. Yarbrough takes Buddy Baker, and so now he is only about a second behind Charlie Glatzback. And when they come by, they'll have 2 laps to go. Everybody, more than 100,000 people here jammed right up against the fence, standing on top of their cars, on top of their makeshift. Spectacular history of motorsport.
Not a person is sitting down, Bill. What a dramatic wind-up to this 11th annual Daytona 500.
0.8 of a second. That's all that separates Leroy Yarbrough with 2 laps to go from Charlie Glatzback, and he's closing in on it.
The question is, will he be able to get by if he catches him?
There are still many other cars on the track, and they have to give way for traffic, but seemingly they don't seem to even care about it. They're going at such blinding speeds. Glatzback has just got it right to the floorboard. So does Leroy. And he's coming up right behind him. There they are for the first time. Both cars right in our picture, and a slower car moves to give way. Right down in front of the grandstand. This is 1 lap to go. The white flag is out.
And Leroy's got a clear shot at Glatzback.
And there they go into the upper turn.
They're on the final lap. About 6 car lengths separate.
And here's where it's going to happen. Down the backstretch, and Leroy picks up a little ground on Charlie Glatzback. Leroy getting closer.
They're going close to 200 miles an hour here.
And Leroy takes him. Yarbrough has taken the lead as they go side by side, splitting another car as they go by. At breakneck speed, Leroy Yarbrough has the lead on Glatzback, and Charlie now will have to come down fast to the inside out of the number 4 turn.
He'll try and slingshot him if he has room.
And there's no room there. They come by, everybody standing and cheering. The checkered flag is out for Leroy Yarbrough, who takes the lead on the last lap.
What a finish.
An unbelievable finish that has everybody limp here at the Daytona International Speedway. Back in victory lane in a moment.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Ernie. Hi, Dad.
Guess what?
What?
I see the boss in 2 weeks about a terrific promotion.
Not with that dandruff. Well, that's wonderful, dear.
Yeah.
But don't wear that blue suit when you go.
What's the matter with my blue suit?
You have dandruff, Dad. It shows.
She's right, Dad. I have dandruff? I have dandruff. What do I do?
Use what we use, dear. Head and Shoulders.
Head and Shoulders. Helps control dandruff with regular use. It makes a lot of nice suds. Smells nice, too. Hey, how about that? I never knew my hair could look so good. Ta-da!
Oh, you got the promotion.
I got the promotion and the raise. What do you think of that?
New car. New clothes. New dishwasher.
Head and Shoulders. It really works.
I'm so happy for him.
Did you think he was going to win it with 2 laps to go?
No, well, I don't know. I did a lot of praying.
That's good. Leroy Yarbrough's wife, and here he is. Leroy, it's rare in any sport where grown men cry, and that's what the members of the Junior Johnson team were doing when you came over. Do you feel the same way?
Chris, I'm crying too.
It's got to be your biggest day in racing, isn't it?
It's the biggest day in my life.
Where did you find the stamina and the speed and the willpower to do what you did on that very last lap?
Well, really, we'd planned it for the last 20 laps, and ever since I made my last pit stop, as I said before, we'd been planning the tires, we'd been changing compounds, trying to find what we could run the fastest on. We knew all day that our engine, our Ford, was just wonderful. It was faster than the Dodges. It would draft faster. When I could get in the front, it would stay there. So we was really just hunting for a tire compound, and thank God to Goodyear that we found one that we could really go quick when we needed to.
Why did you wait till the last lap, Leroy?
Well, I knew if I passed him at last lap that he couldn't pass me back before I got to that flag. It's just not possible. It hasn't been done in a couple of years down here, and I didn't figure on it being done today.
Leroy Yarbrough, driver that used his head, and a very happy Mrs. Yarbrough over there, too. Congratulations and continued good luck to you both.
Thank you.
By the way, Bill, the purse breakdown gives Leroy $38,900 for winning. Charlie Glatzback, $18,400, and Allison, $13,200.
All right, thanks very much, Chris. It's all excitement and pandemonium down here in victory lane as always, but Yarborough winning it in the mile over Charlie Glotzback, and that truly is incredible, considering they went 500 miles. Chris, come on in just a second here. Got your breath, and have you got your hearing back?
Practically, it's pretty loud out here during the 500 mile. What a race, huh, Bill? 188, 189 miles an hour on the track, and 157.9 for the winner. Great speed.
Chris, I think it augurs well for the racing season for 69 for us on the super speedways of America. It certainly serves as a great springboard to get started.
It certainly is, and there's a lot more big and important races coming up this year, and Wide World of Sports will have many of them for our viewers.
And we're delighted you're going to be with us again, too, on those.
That's my pleasure, Bill.
Okay. This is Bill Fleming, along with Chris Economaki, saying so long from Victory Lane here at the Daytona International Speedway. And again, the top 5, Leroy Yarborough, Charlie Glotzback, Donnie Wilson, A.J. Foyt, and Buddy Baker. The executive producer of ABC's Wide
was always for me. The roller coaster, the intimacy. Could be a mother, chaotic a maze. You stood there laughing your ass off. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna be there when you get pinched. Oh, yeah. United matches, oh, it's mere magic to me. Resting on my atoms, oh, I'm in a chasm of energy. The truth to master for everyone here. An even outlook to conquer your fears. Could be a cakewalk, a place in the sun. You stand there laughing your ass off. Oh, yeah, I wanna be there when you get pinched. Oh, yeah, I get to be there and get my fix. If United matches, oh, it's mere magic to me. Resting on your atoms, oh, you're in a chasm.